All cell phones, pagers, or any electronic devices used for communication should be silenced right now for the duration of this meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Calling the Terrebonne Parish Council meeting of Wednesday, December 17, 08, to order at 6 o'clock p.m. And calling the meeting to order, we'll have an invocation by Mr. LePere, and we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance this evening by Miss Mary Lynn Bislin with Tart. Will everyone please stand?
Thank you. One of my favorite prayers is a prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make us instruments of thy will. Where there is hate, may we bring love. Where there is offense, pardon. Where there is discord, peace. And where there is error, truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. May we seek not so much to be consoled as to console, neither to be understood as to understand, nor to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in self-forgetfulness that we find, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying that we shall have eternal life. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Bislin?
Mr. Voisin, thank you. I just wanted to come by tonight and bring you, each of you, a small gift from TARC. It's a gift basket with an array of items that we actually, our clients, make and sell out of our restaurant and a gift shop, and soon to be on the internet. So because you all do so much for the community and you are our leaders, some of us decided to ask Mr. Labatt, and he said it would be permissible for us to give y'all a small gift. We thank y'all so much. Anytime you want to come by TARC and buy more gifts, we have plenty. And thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bislin, and thank all of your clients that do such a good job, and you guys do such a good job with those people. Very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you all from this council. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Whitney Chauvin, roll call, please.
Mr. LePere. Mr. Voisin.
Here.
Mr. Sehan. Mr. Lambert. Mr. Tillman. Ms. Williams. Mr. Hebert. Ms. Cavalier. Mr. Pizzolata. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Chauvin. For those of you that don't know, our minutes clerk, used to be Miss Vanita Whitney, now Miss Vanita Whitney Chauvin, got married last Saturday, so congratulations, Ms. Chauvin. And Merry Christmas to you and your family. Approved minutes of regular council session of 11/19/08. Moved by Mr. Tillman. Second by Mr. Sehan and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Distribute minutes of regular council session of 12/03/08. Distribute the minutes of the special council meeting of December 15, 2008, and approve parish bill list dated 12/08. Moved by Mr. Tillman, second by Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Resolutions, change orders, substantial completions, and final payments. Resolution supporting and endorsing the completion of the I-49 South Corridor with emphasis on the extension of the highway from LA Highway 1 to LA Highway 310 as a priority roadway project in the state of Louisiana. Moved by Ms. Williams. Unanimous second's been called for by Mr. LePere. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Item B, resolution authorizing the amendment of the bulky waste collection service contract with Sweetie LLC. Moved by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Before going any further, I'd like to just point out, I overlooked, we have a former council member, Mr. Alan Bonvillain, in the audience, and I wanted to recognize Mr. Bonvillain for his dedication and past contributions. Thank you, sir. Item C, resolution authorizing the parish president to negotiate and execute the necessary contracts with the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry for programs administered by the Terrebonne Parish Tree Board. Moved by Mr. Sehan, second by Mr. Hebert, and Ms. Cavalier. Seeing no lights on the matter. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 2, public wishing to address the council. Item A, Ms. Alicia Toops, Director of ADAC, wishes to address the council to request the designation of the Good Earth Transit System Depot on Main Street as a drug and alcohol-free parade zone for all Homer Mardi Gras parades. Is Ms. Toops in the audience? On the podium, ma'am. We're gonna wanna do this probably.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Toops. I'm the Executive Director of the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council for South Louisiana. ADAC's been the host of the Alcohol and Drug-Free Zone during the West Side Mardi Gras parades for approximately 8 years, and we're here tonight to ask the council for permission to use the Good Earth Transit Station to host the Alcohol and Drug-Free Zone for the 2009 Mardi Gras season for the West Side parades.
That sounds great, ma'am.
Motion to send it to policy procedure.
Motion to send it to Policy, Procedure, and Legal for a vote. That would be the first meeting in January, I think would be the 12th. Is that correct, Mr. Labat? We would vote on it at that time, and at this point, I don't see any problems with that happening. You guys have done a good job in the past, and it's been certainly a beautiful area, free of drugs and alcohol. There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. LaPierre. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
There was no motion necessary, was there? Paul? Yeah. Could we do that without an add-on? Item B, Ms. Connie Martin, RN, MHA representative, representing Physicians Medical Center, wishes to address the council to request that Physicians Medical Center be accepted as an in-network healthcare provider for parish employees. Ms. Martin.
Hi.
Your name and address, please, for the record.
Okay. Hey, my name is Connie Martin. I'm the administrator of Physicians Medical Center located here in Houma, and I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. The purpose of my appearing here before you tonight is to request your consideration for allowing Physician Medical Center to become an in-network provider for the health care
Ms. Martin, if you would, for the tape, if you could get the mic just a little closer to the mic, either turn it towards you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the purpose of my appearing here before you this evening is to request your consideration in allowing Physicians Medical Center to become an in-network provider for the health care services of the parish employees. Currently, the parish employees may seek health care at facilities such as Terrebonne General, Thibodaux Regional, and Auctioner St. Anne's as an in-network provider, which means that they have contracted independently with Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the health care of the employees at a contracted rate. Physicians Medical Center is considered to be an out-of-network provider, which means that if a parish employee would be treated at our facility, they would experience higher out-of-pocket expenses because of that out-of-network status. And over the several years that we've been open, numerous parish employees have called to inquire if we were indeed in network with Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. And upon finding out that we're not, they're very adamant as to when will you become, because they want us to be treated at our facility. And some have even gone out of network and paid that higher out-of-pocket expense regardless. So that's why we're here this evening, to give the parish employees an option to go where they would like to for their health care services, just have an even playing field. So I've prepared a very brief presentation on the history of our facility, just so you all can know. So I have some overheads that are on the monitor behind. Oh, you can see it there. Okay. So first of all, the history of our facility. We opened up in 1996 as an ambulatory surgery center doing only outpatient surgeries. And in 2000, we converted into a hospital. We acquired an acute care hospital license by the state of Louisiana. And in 2003, we added our imaging department so that we can further enhance the care of our inpatients through imaging. And because of the increased demand in surgery patients as well as physicians wanting to be credentialed at our facility, we've added on a 5th operating room in 2005. And to further enhance the services and to increase demand, we've added 20 beds in 2007 so that we can then have medical patient admits as well. In 2007, we also introduced mammography services, and this year, 2008, opening this month, is our breast cancer center and radiation oncology. Okay. Currently, we're a 30-bed acute care hospital. We're Medicare and Medicaid certified, and we are in network with most of the major insurance carriers such as Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, United, and the Louisiana Office of Group Benefits. We are physician-owned. We have approximately 101 credentialed physicians at our facility, 46 of which are investors. And those physicians cover 17 different medical or surgical specialties. We have 160 employees, and to date we perform greater than 62,000 surgical procedures. This slide, the purpose here is our insurance mix, and it's just to show you that we have a wide array of payers here. If you look at the Medicare and Medicaid, that's about 1/3 of our population. And one of the reasons I wanted to point this out is because contrary to a lot of things that you hear in the media about physician-owned hospitals, that we want the healthy and the wealthy and take the cream of the crop, that's not the case here. As you can see that we do have a wide array of payers here. And we do have some exclusive services that are that we perform only at our facility, out of the facilities in the Tri-Parish area. We are the only one that has a comprehensive bariatric program. To date, we've performed approximately 375 surgical bariatric procedures, and with a total aggregate weight loss of 25,000 pounds. So it's really a good service for our community. We do have a fixed unit lithotripter for the treatment of kidney stones, whereas other facilities treat kidney stones, but they're portable units. Prior to our facility having this unit, the patients would have to travel to Tulane. They were the closest one to have this particular type of lithotripter, and there are certain implications that call for it particularly. And we also will be offering radiation oncology at the end of this year. And while other facilities in the area do offer radiation oncology, ours is different, that we have a Varian Trilogy unit, which is a new generation for cancer treatment technology. So it's the latest and the greatest in cancer treatment technology. And this next slide just shows the various types of cancer, and breast cancer being one of the top cancers in the country. But this Trilogy unit can treat all of these cancers.
Motion to extend 2 minutes by Mr. Tillman, second by Ms. Cavalier. 5 minutes if necessary.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Would you
Thank
continue,
you.
Ms. Martin?
So breast cancer is one of the top cancers in the country. And this slide can also show the prevalence of breast cancer from 1960, how it's increasing astronomically until 1996 for sure, and it's still on the increase. Because of those high breast cancer rates, and we wanted to treat the patients and the women of our community to stay in the community, stay where the resources are here, their support groups. We have excellent physicians. Why not use our facilities for our community for its fullest potential? And so we're opening up a breast cancer center where everything can be done in one facility, from diagnosis through treatment. And this will show the full scope of breast health services that we will offer, everything from mammography, biopsy, ultrasound, chemo, oncology, surgery, reconstruction, have it all in one roof, one close proximity, instead of having to go to Texas, to MD Anderson, et cetera. And so basically, in conclusion, the reason why we're here is to petition to this group to allow us to be an in-network provider, because we do have out-of-parish hospitals working in-network with the Terrebonne Parish School Board for their health care, such as Thibodeau and Oxters. So parish employees can go to those facilities in-network, and here we are located in Terrebonne Parish, and we're out-of-network. So we would just like you to consider giving us a contract or contracting with us to provide health care services. So thank you very much for your time, and that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Seeing one light, Mr. Tillman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I make a motion that this matter be referred to the appropriate committee.
Motion by Mr. Tillman to send this to committee, second by Ms. Cavalier. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Mr. Tillman?
Yeah, I have, no, that's good. I'll wait till the committee.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No further action necessary on item B. Ms. Lucretia McBride, Homer resident, wishes to address the council regarding issues relative to Terrebonne Parish Council boards, commissions, etc. Ms. McBride? Once, twice, Mr. Labat got a call earlier today that she would not be able to make the meeting this evening. Item D. Mr. August Bonvillain and Mr. Charles Bonvillain, members of the East Park Volunteer Fire Company, wish to address the council relative to the East Park Fire Station. Prior to them speaking, I'd allow Councilman Mr. Pizzolato to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. August Bonvillain couldn't make it tonight. He has a little problem. Mr. Charles Bonvillain is here, and I just want the people in that area to know that we're negotiating very strongly with the parish president, and he's assured me that something will be done in the near future. The station will be brought up to date as far as handicapped and get the station painted and ready to go, and it won't be long that you're going to see some action happening at that station. And I thank you very much for your time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Pizzolato. Mr. Charles, would you want to speak this evening, sir? Come to the mic, please. Give your name and address for the record, if you will, if you would, Mr. Bonvillain.
My name is Charles J. Bonvillain, live 1908 Slater Street. And I want to address the president, his officials, and the council. We wish to have East Park Volunteer Fire Company open again. And a lot of people talking about it belongs to Bonvillain. I'm a Bonvillain. I was there when they started with my dad and Uncle Hayes and all them. And Elmo Kaja, plenty. I could name them all, and y'all know them. But they're all gone now. We the only one left, and we like to get that station open again, because that station don't belong to the Bonvillain. And also, we taxpayers like everybody else. And I just want to address y'all there and tell y'all that we'd be happy, the people in the neighborhood, because that's who that fire station belonged to, the people in the neighborhood. I just want y'all to rest on that, because I tell you what, we need that thing open, because right now I can't hardly get out of Slater Street to go to town. They got so many cars. What are you going to do after they start working on that bridge? What you gonna do? We on an island, and the only thing you got that overpass. Suppose that thing would freeze over, what happened? Where you gonna get the fire trucks? Suppose the bridge break, like this morning they was working on the Dagville Bridge. So I just wanna ask y'all to please vote and get this station open for us. And I sure thank y'all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bonvillain. Mr. Pizzolato,
All right.
anything else, sir?
Just to let Mr. Bonvillain know that this council's already voted to open that station. It's just a matter of time now before we can get everything in order, and it will be opened.
All right. Sure, thank you, Mr. Pizzolato, and the council and the parish president and his officials. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bonvillain. Thank you, Mr. Pizzolato, for those comments. First speaker card, Mr. Reggie Berg wishes to speak on hurricane protection levies. Mr. Berg?
Reggie Berg, 6685 Shrimpers Road in Dulac. My presentation is about our levies and the articles in the newspaper from last Sunday. And I guess a continuation of my last two presentations about the $30 million levy in Dulac. I didn't make the Monday night meeting, but I was told that it was said that there are going to be gaps in that levy. openings over pipelines not going to be covered. Is that true? Can anyone give me a nod if that's true? Okay. And I've voiced my dissatisfaction in my opinion the last couple of meetings about that. And I received some pretty interesting comments that, you know, it was going to protect Dulac, was going to protect Grand Canyon. And it's not. And what I would like to say is, can we not just say no? That if we can't spend this money properly, instead of wasting good, hard-earned federal tax dollars from the citizens all over the United States, if we can't put that money in a good place and spend it the right way, that it'll give us some protection. Just say no. Don't do it. Send it back. Give it back. And say, let's start from the beginning. Let's see what mistakes we've made and correct them. And maybe we need more money. Because if we don't have a floodgate, if we don't have levees on the other, you know, on the west side of the bayou, it's meaningless. But yet you have articles in the newspaper, and I don't know why they do this. 30 million in levee work moves forward. Our parish president, very pleased to see this day finally arrive. You know, it's misleading. It's misleading. It's a misrepresentation. Because it will not do any good, except for the people who are going to haul the dirt, dig the mud, do the engineering work. Those are the only people who are going to benefit from this. There's no plan to ever finish that system. And better yet, wait until it's kind of, I'm going to say in the future when it's done, where I can get the aerial photos and show you going around, Mr. Wiley, going around that big lake. How much money is it going to cost to go around that lake, Mr. Wiley? $4 or $5 million? Make a big old horseshoe curve around a lake? And we're just throwing money away. We'll go on to the panel. Welcome youth from Morganza. And I found the word hope in here twice. Let's hope that those in Congress and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and others involved are pushing to fight hurricane protection for heed those words and produce quick results that might stop the Gulf of Mexico from stealing our home and culture. Further down, overall scientific report is good news for Morganza. It suggests that we move forward in hopes that the federal government will eventually upgrade our levees to hurricane protection. The way we build in Morganza, Junior, it will never be a federal levee because it's not made to core standards. And then that's kind of like the controversy that you have with the $30 million levee that's being made to core standards, but in the wrong place. See, are we moving forward? I'm here to tell you, no, you're moving backwards. See, if you've asked me several times, let's put this aside and move forward and work together. How can we when we just throw money away, waste it? You know, this is not true. This is not true. These articles are not true. And when this project is going to be finished, you're going to see that it's not going to do any good. See, how can we continue, right now, after what's happened in the last 5 years, how can we continue to create blunders? Total mess up. That's not the words I really want to use, but how can we continue doing that? But yet we put on a face, hey, we're helping y'all. We're helping the people down the bayou. No, you're not. You're helping the fat cats continue to get rich. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berg, for your comments. Next speaker card. Mr. Tim McCoy wishes to address the council about drainage contracts. Mr. McCoy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd also like to thank the entire council and the administration for allowing me this time. My name is Tim McCoy. I live at 742 Lantana Circle in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. I'm here tonight representing Toll Test Incorporated of Maumee, Ohio. Although myself and Toll Test has offices in a number of places, including Louisiana, for over 8 years. I'm here, and part of this is going to be a little redundant for President Calday and Director of Public Works Bush and Ms. Alcott, because we met with them yesterday. They were gracious enough to meet with us. And they asked us for some information that FedEx didn't get to us today, some tapes that we made of a pre-bid meeting. So those tapes will be available to them tomorrow, as will a transcript of the entire pre-bid meeting that we're having prepared. But I also wanted to address the council because we have received our notice to proceed on a contract and our clock is ticking. And if the council were to have questions and we would be delayed for another meeting, we'd be losing a month or so. So I wanted to try to address it as quick as we could. We were the successful bidder of a drainage contract to clean all subsurface drainage in Terrebonne Parish. It was a $3.9 million bid, give or take some. That was 100% bonded. We were giving in the solicitation, we were given every street name in the parish, maps of the parish streets, and it was all these documents was in the solicitation. Originally, a solicitation came out just to clean the flooded areas of the southern part of the parish. That solicitation was pulled, I think, after an action by this council, and then this was the solicitation that went out and was actually bid. And we were lucky enough to be the successful bidder. We bid on 3 different projects. We were successful on this one. Peak Construction was successful on the ditch contract. But what brings me here today is there's been a drastic change in the scope of work of our contract. Although we bid it was publicly bid, it was advertised, and it was a $3.9 million bid, it looks like from everybody's estimate, because we can't get exact footage, our bid has been reduced by over 80%. And when an initial solicitation went out just to do the southern part, that was pulled, didn't do the whole parish. Now all of a sudden we're back to just doing the southern part, and it caused us a real problem. And some of the issues that came about were conducted at, and the questions were at the pre-bid meeting. And if I could look at my notes, we recorded the pre-bid meeting. That's the tapes that everyone will have here tomorrow. But we asked if we could change the pay points because the southern part was completely flooded. We knew that. The culverts down there are completely full, and those are more expensive to do. And Director Bush told us, no, we had to recon the entire parish and come up with an average price for the parish, which is quite all right with us, and we did that happily. And we explained the difference in the cost of cleaning culverts on the southern end or cleaning the subsurface drainage here in the city of Houma and the rest of the parish. We also asked if the bid was contingent upon anything from FEMA, and we were told that it was not, that it was illegal for the parish to put out a solicitation for bid based upon something being contingent. The money had to be there, it had to be appropriated. So no, we were to move forward and we would not be waiting on FEMA for our money or any approvals. Well, what happens next is we come down to our pre-construction meeting, which we were here for on Tuesday, and on Tuesday is when we found out our work had been drastically reduced. Not before I flew 5 people here from all over the United States expecting to begin work on a $3.9 million project. And then when it was drastically reduced, and goes to the southern end, there's some serious problems with the pricing because we did it based on an average of the entire parish. We were also told in this solicitation it was mandatory for us to start in all 9 council districts and have 2 crews working in the southernmost districts that were the most affected. So that's the way we arranged our trucks, our planning, our support crews, and our bids. We were told that an ordinance passed by this council is why we were going to be doing the entire parish and why it was going to have someone in every parish district. We were told to recon the entire parish and that every drain line in this parish that had a minimum of 10%, that was a minimum of 10% full. Anything under 10%, we didn't clean. We reconned it, just looked at it. When you look at it, we get paid a recon fee because at the same time, we would be GPSing every location of every culvert, every catch basin, every manhole, every line. That would allow the parish to go back, put those GPS coordinates in their GIS system on a computer.
Motion to extend by Mr. Tillman, second by Mr. Hebert, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? 5. Additional 5 minutes if you need it, sir.
Thank you, sir. But there's 1.6 million feet that we bid to come in and recon. I sent 3 crews down here who worked a better part of a week lifting lids and reconning as we were instructed to do in the pre-bid meeting. Now, You know, Terrebonne Parish is roughly 1,450 square miles, and now we're told the only work we're going to be doing is the southernmost part of the parish, which in some instances would be a 30-mile drive to work with a $300,000 truck. And a truck driving 30 miles, you can't do at the same price you would do if you were doing the entire parish. Again, the average price of doing the entire parish. And to give you a little hypothetical about the cost difference, if I pull up to Main Street out here and I go to a catch basin, we pull the lid, it's dirty and the pipe needs to be cleaned. Those judgments would not be made by us, they would be made by the engineering firm. The engineering firm that we began with was Gulf South, and that's where we had our pre-bid meeting and where the bids, and they were at the bid openings. We've since been told that Gulf South has been terminated, and now we're working with Beck, who we've now met with. We have no trouble working with whoever the parish decides that we should work with.
Terminated?
Terminated was the term that I was given. But on cleaning the north end, if our truck pulls up to a catch basin, it cleans the catch basin. Based on the bid price, we're paid roughly $100. We can then clean out to roughly 200 feet. At 200 feet, say the average price is $350. It would depend upon the size of the pipe based on what pay point would be in the bid. That's another $700. So there's $800 for that truck pulling up one time in the northern part with subsurface drainage. If we go to the southern part and we pull up to a 15-foot culvert, which we bid to do, we're more than happy to do it all, but we pull up to that 15-foot culvert and it's completely full of mud and we clean it, by the time we have to move the truck right after cleaning 15 feet, which generates $52.50. So the difference between cleaning the north and the south with one truck setup can be as high as $750, but we're being asked to clean the south at the same price we bid for the entire parish, which just isn't feasible. Not to mention the fact that we put up a $3.9 million bid for this parish. I don't know, those of you who are aware of how a bond system works. You are giving an aggregate of bond for the year. If I'd go out and I have a $100 million bond line and I take $100 million job, I can't bond another job the rest of that year. So if I come in here and I work on this parish after producing a $3.9 million bond and I only do $600,000, there's $3.3 million my company cannot do of work in the future for the rest of this year. That's just the way the system works. And we all know the craziness of what's going on in the bond markets. The biggest bond writer in the United States is AIG. So now's not a very good time to find AIG and ask them to raise bond limits. Everyone understands quantity discounts. If I was an employer coming into Terrebonne Parish and I asked for tax breaks because I was going to employ 500 people, I don't think Terrebonne Parish would be too happy if in the end you gave me tax breaks, you prepared me a facility, and I came in and I employed 5. It's basically what we're looking at. That's the comparisons we're looking at. You know, the parish waited 30 days to award us this contract. And for whatever reason, by the time we came down for a pre-construction meeting, we weren't told there was a reduction in the work. We can come down with the same management team and manage 40 trucks working as we can come down and manage 5 trucks working. So our management cost goes through the roof besides the cost of the truck. And on top of that, with the reduction that's been done to the ditch cleaning crew, if we all go down and work in the southern part, we're going to be in each other's way. And we would have thought about that when we bid the project. Had we known if we have the whole parish, we know this is a large parish, we can stay out of each other's way. If we're all working down there together, we're going to be in each other's way. Other parishes I've worked on, Katrina, Jefferson Parish, we did $52 million. They did $52 million worth of drain work. My companies did $26 million of that. Rita, New Orleans, $33 million. Our companies did $10 million of that. St. Bernard did 100% of theirs. Mandeville did almost 100% of theirs. I did that work. Plaquemines Parish has done 100% of theirs. Gustav and Ike, Jefferson Parish has already done over $1.5 million of hauling of debris and is looking and expecting an answer this week on $5 million more in Jefferson Parish. And they've also done 100% of everything near Lafitte, whether it was flooded or not. St. John the Baptist Parish has done their entire parish. My companies did those projects. It was $4.8 million, and we've already been paid $4.1 million. So St. John the Baptist Parish is confident about their reimbursement. So
Motion to extend.
I'm nearly finished.
Mr. Lambert, till he finishes, second by Mr. Hebert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. Continue,
Well,
Mr. McCoy.
and this just gets us back to the conclusion. The conclusion of the scenario is we did everything we were asked to bid this project, and we bid it in good faith. And we want to do the project and do it well like we've done so many other places and help the drainage issues in Terrebonne Parish. I'm not saying we'll solve every issue you have, but it'll certainly make it easier to identify where your problems are if your lines are cleaned all at once for the first time ever. All these other parishes have been able to do that. I don't understand why Terrebonne Parish cannot. I have an attorney friend of mine who represents me on some issues who at one time was general counsel for the Office of Homeland Security, which heads FEMA. And I was in Washington meeting with him a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of talking about this situation and how some parishes do so well in getting things accomplished and some parishes don't. His words to me were, and this is an ex-general counsel for the Office of Homeland Security, which is a head attorney over FEMA, was, and if you'll notice, the ones that spend so much after every event seem to have more money spent on them after. If you aggressively go after your repair work, I think you'll find that FEMA will be more apt to want to prevent your future flooding. And I'm available for questions from anyone. I am going to have to leave soon. I have a meeting in the morning in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm going to have to drive there. But I appreciate your time. We anxiously await more information from the Director of Public Works office, the President's office, and we are going to provide them in their defense. We thought we'd have it here today. It did not make it. We'll have it tomorrow. And we will have transcripts available for anyone else that would like to have a transcript of the pre-bid meeting. And I did find out today from Phil from Gulf South that there were minutes taken of that pre-bid meeting as well, and they are available also.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy.
Thank you.
I have one light, Ms. Alcott, legal.
Yeah, I just wanted to put y'all on notice before you begin any kind of discussion that we did meet with this gentleman and the pertinent members of the government who are administering the contract. And he indicated to us that if he was unhappy with some of the issues that he's talked about here tonight, and that if he didn't get the response they were looking for, that they plan to contact legal counsel. So be mindful of that and any comments you might make here.
My God. Thank you, Ms. Alcott. Mr. Hebert, your light, sir.
Mr. Chairman, do we have another speaker on this subject tonight?
do.
We do? I'd like to comment, but I'd like to hear from the other speaker, and then maybe we can...
Speaker on this very matter, sir. I have another light, and it's also after the hour of 6:30 o'clock for public hearings. We can do one or two things, either move to continue this topic and hold public hearings, or go into public hearings and complete and come back to this subject, sir.
I'd like to move that we go into the public hearings and get that behind us, and then we can come back and address this, because it may take some time.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Mr. Pizzolato, your light, sir. Would you care to speak now, or would you rather wait till we readdress this after public hearing?
I'll wait till after the public.
Thank you very much, sir. Motion to go into public hearings by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Hebert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. 6:40 o'clock p.m., public hearings relative to item A, a proposed ordinance to improve the issuance of a certificate of public convenience and necessity to Petrie Scab. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call. Motion to close. Motion to close, Mr. Tillman. Second by Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adopt by Mr. Tillman. Second by Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Item B, a proposed ordinance to accept Rebecca Plantation into the parish maintenance system and to incorporate Weatherford Drive and Rebecca's Pond Road into the enhanced 911 emergency response system. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. Sehan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes.
To adopt.
Motion to adopt, Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. Sehan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item C, a proposed ordinance that will amend the 2008 budget so as to make adjustments to the LIHEAP program, the Lashbrook Pump Station Bulkhead, NRCS, and the Community Readiness Initiative funds. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call. Motion to close, Mr. Seahan.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lambert and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, the motion passes. Motion to adopt, Mr. Seahan. Second by Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. Item D, a proposed ordinance that will amend the 2008 budget so as to recognize the funding of 3 police grants. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call. Motion to close, Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
To adopt.
Motion to adopt, Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item E, a proposed ordinance that will amend the 2008 budget so as to make necessary adjustments to state that total revenue fails to meet and expenditures exceed their respective budgets by 5% or more for the dedicated emergency fund, the road lighting district number 6 fund, the road lighting district number 7 fund, and the road lighting district number 9 fund. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call.
Motion to
Motion to close, Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. Tillman and Mr. LaPere. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Motion to adopt, Mr. Lambert. Second by Mr. Seahan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. A proposed ordinance that will amend the 2008 budget so as to make necessary departmental adjustments for the various hurricane expenses. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call. Motion to close, Mr. Seahan.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lambert and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Motion to adopt, Mr. Seahan.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lambert and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
Motion to go back in the regular.
Motion to go back into regular order, Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. Seahan and Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. One back into regular order, we'll resume with speaker cards. I have another speaker card, Reed Ingram, Peak Construction, wants to speak on ditch cleaning contract. Mr. Ingram, your name, please, and occupation for the record.
Hi, my name's Reed Ingram, owner of Peak Construction. We were awarded the ditch cleaning contract back on October 21st, and a lot of my issues are in line with those of Toll Test. We bid the contract in good faith. At that pre-bid meeting, a representative of ours went there to that meeting, and there was several questions that I wanted to make sure that we're clear on. And the number one question was that being that, is this bid being done in sections of the parish? Because as we all know, there's different areas of the parish that's affected, some maybe not as affected as others. Back in Katrina, when we did St. Timmy Parish ditch cleaning, St. Timmy Parish did the entire parish in sections. And with that being, you have some areas that are harder to clean than other areas. So when we bid this contract and was awarded this contract roughly around $5.5 million, when we put up the bid and the bid bond, we have asked for several meetings. We met with Gulf engineers in early November. We stated to them at that time they were the engineers. We understand since then they've been fired. But in that meeting, we went over the bid and what we, Peak Construction, wanted to do and how we did different areas or different ditch cleaning for different parishes or municipalities. And with that being said, in the contract, we were supposed to have 11 crews going. Well, I told the engineers at Gulf, so that we're not breaching our contract, I wanted to have 16. And he says, well, in a ramp-up period, starting with 5 crews, we can ramp up to 16. That's not a problem as long as you give us the notification of when you bring these other crews in. And I said, well, I like to get them up. I want to do this parish in 90 days. I want to get in, clean it the way it needs to be, do it efficiently, effectively, come in and clean the parish. And at that time, he had not a problem. Since then, we learned that Gulf is not going to be the engineer monitoring the ditch cleaning that Beck was, and therefore we were sent to Mr. Bush. And one of our representatives stayed in contact with Mr. Bush, and we've asked for meetings and meetings and meetings. And finally, on December the 11th, which was last Thursday, we were at a pre-construction meeting, and at that time we were told when we could start, which was today, which we did start. Notice to proceed were given, and at that time we were told that we were not going to be cleaning the north-south of the parish. And listening throughout the meeting, I said, well, how many linear feet are we left to do on the south side? He says, well, I don't know, but I can tell you we, Terrebonne Parish Public Works, have done 40% of the ditches in the area. And I'm just sitting back and I'm appalled, like, how can we put up this bond, have all these costs of bid bonds, paying our bond costs, paying insurance, paying attorney's fees, and here we have Terrebonne Public Works doing our contract for us. So in addition to what Toll Test is doing, we now have some competition in doing our workforce as we're bonded the entire parish. And our problem is here we want to clean your parish. We want to do the entire parish as per the contract, as per y'all laid out. And I'm fine with doing it. I'm fine with doing it at the set price that we did, which is $7 million less than what the second place bid came in. And we can do it at that. But we can't come in and do something on the south side of the parish that has impacted a lot more than what the north side is. We were asked to do it as a whole. We will do it as a whole. But we can't come in and do the south side of the parish at that price, which we're doing right now. We're living up to our agreement. But along with that, competing with Terrebonne Public Works, doing our work for us. And I don't think that's fair. We understand, we take the good with the bad. But in agreement with a lot of things what Toll Test has, I mean, it goes hand in hand. The bid went out, the bond, we're ready to do the work, and it's not fair for us to go do the south side of the parish, living up to what we were supposed to have an average.
To extend by Mr. Tillman, second by Mr. Hebert and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes.
Okay.
Continue, if you will,
Okay.
Mr. Ingram.
And, we went out and did a lot of recon work, and now we're coming back and a lot of these, and again, we're talking 60 days. So the parish had a lot of time to let us know about this work before we presented our bond to them too. And we were never told at the presentation of the bond, or when we were supposed to send our $5.5 million bond in, which was probably about a month after we were awarded the bid, that we sent in our bond that of 2 million linear feet, and now we're doing the south side, and now that the Terrebonne Public Works have done 40% of the work as of last Thursday, which would be the end of Wednesday, and now they continue to do more work of it, so what are we left with? This might cost us more money than what we're going to make on this thing. So, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity to bid and clean your parish. I look forward to working with y'all, but please take notes and notation of what we're asking for. It's not fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Ingram. Mr. Hebert, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I first became involved in this. I didn't realize what was going on with these contractors and the firing of the engineers. But last week I did send an email to President Claudet asking him to check into the progress of cleaning the ditches and the culverts in District 3. And he referred the email to Mr. Bush. Mr. Bush wrote back to me saying that, Mr. Hebert, there will be no ditches, no catch basins, no drainage system cleaned north of Woodlawn Ranch Road. I am very upset tonight, especially to hear what's going on right now. I smell a lawsuit, and I can tell my fellow council members that we have paid enough in lawsuits. We have put the money in place to do these projects, and we need to get them done. We probably have the most qualified and successful contractors, I believe, in the United States to come here and do this work and show us how it can be done. They have the equipment to monitor these systems to be able to help us when we do fight FEMA. I've got letters here from different cities. This was addressed to Colonel Thomas Fitzpatrick with the Governor's Office of Homeland Security on the second appeal for the city of New Orleans. The city of New Orleans was granted an additional $10 million for cleaning storm drains, signed by Carlos Castillo, Assistant Administrator, Disaster Assistant Department. Sure, this is not an easy process. We can't take one bureaucratic person's decision to say they're not going to cover this. I feel all of these items in our parish have been covered. We hit a direct storm, hit Terrebonne Parish. I mean, we had winds of 115, 120 miles an hour in Shreva. In Shreva. I was here during the storm. I stayed. I visited every street. Every street in District 3 was covered with debris, leaves, garbage. Remember, the garbage was not picked up that Saturday. So as a result, it was spread all over. We had garbage cans from here to yonder and debris. And I'd say 50% of this went into the storm drainage, our drainage system. Luckily, we haven't had one heavy rain yet. But I can assure you, if we have a heavy rain, many people will flood. And I can assure you that they will. Go and check the storm drains and you will see the debris. I have another letter here. FEMA pays for Kenner to clean the storm drain catch basin. This was on a second appeal to FEMA. They came up and they paid the monies to get Kenner reimbursed for the removal of debris in their storm drainage system. $2.9 million. Kenner's budget is only $60 million. We have a $220 million budget, and we can't spend $3.9 million to get our entire parish cleaned up. Something's wrong in here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really upset with this. If we're going to let a bureaucrat from FEMA come in and tell us that this is not covered, when I know full well, and I think the other councilman will back me up on this, that their areas are covered with debris. And until we get this parish totally cleaned up, we're going to have problems from now till the next storm. You can mark it and book it. And I'm going to tell you, the people that are going to get the phone calls from the residents when they flood is going to be us up here. Nobody else. Us. And we're going to want to know why. Well, I'm going to tell you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have passed an ordinance. We have put the money in place for these projects. It is time that we bite the bullet and we clean this parish and not delay it any further than what it is. I'm tired of paying for lawsuits right now on all kind of mediocre stuff because we don't do things right. This is the right way to do it. If we have to go borrow money, we'll go borrow the money. But we've got to clean this parish up once and for all. I'll hold my comments further, Mr. Chairman, if other speakers are there.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Hebert. Mr. Pizzolato, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I remember specifically, I was the only council member that voted against these contracts. But 8 of us up here said we wanted it done. Now, why hasn't it been done? I don't have an answer yet. I have a problem, but I don't have an answer. Will somebody from administration, anybody, give me an answer? Why has this contract been stopped? I need to know that. I'm totally in the dark. This is the first I hear of it. And I've got a district, just like everybody else, where the drains are plugged. Why have we stopped this contract? And why do I have to be told this tonight? An email to my office would have told me this. Then I could have asked administration personally what happened. But I have no clue. I'm lost. Somebody give me an answer, and if you don't give me an answer, I'm going to go with Billy. In fact, I don't have to go with Billy. The contract was issued. This council said do it. Let's do it. Get it over with. I go along with Billy. We got to borrow the money? We'll borrow the money. But tonight's the last time we're going to talk about it. As far as I'm concerned, I know it doesn't need a motion because we already passed the motion to get it cleaned. And we're going to get it cleaned, and this is it. It's final. I don't want to hear, unless somebody can tell me exactly why this contract was stopped and why did Mr. Bush clean 40% of this parish when he was told not to. I still have problems that he can handle that have not been done. For 1 year, I've been waiting to get some problems done. And he's been told, well, we've got the storms to contend with. And I thought because we issued these contracts that it would free up our maintenance department to do those things that were not storm related. I have told people in my district, oh, don't worry about those drains. It's going to be done. It's going to be done. It's being worked on right now. I had a lady call me from Lafayette Woods. She said they cleaned 20 feet of ditch and then they stopped. And I said, oh, well, there must be a reason for it. I didn't take it seriously that this contract was stopped. Nobody told me. I'm a council person. I should know. Every one of us up here should know. It's ridiculous that we got to sit here and go through this type of thing. And I know Mr. Michel's going to talk, and I know he's going to have an answer. But at least I would have known if somebody would have called the Public Works Committee chairman and said, hey, Public Works, this is what's going on. I didn't even get a phone call. Terrible.
Thank you, Mr. Pizzolatto. Chairman wasn't brought in on it either, sir. Let me just say this. I've decided in listening to you and Mr. Hebert and certainly these gentlemen that spoke this evening, I have 2 other speaker lights, but if y'all would just beg my pardon for just a minute, I'm gonna ask administration, Mr. Claudet, and probably Public Works to meet with myself, Council Chairman, Mr. Pizzolatto, Public Works Director, Mr. Hebert from Budget and Finance, who brought the money in, and Ms. Williams from Policy, Procedure, and Legal, being we're talking about possible legal ramifications at this point. And I'm going to ask administration to set up a meeting as quickly as possible to remedy these issues expeditiously. Ms. Alcock's suggestions, I'm not going to say anything else right now, but I'm telling you, we need to meet on this immediately and bring this to a head. I only hope that you guys can find the time to meet with myself and these 3 committee chairmen to bring this to some type of a resolution. Ms. Williams, your light?
He wasn't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Pizzolatto.
I was finishing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I want to speak again.
Continue, sir.
I've got till midnight tonight, till 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. Let's meet after this meeting. These things have got to be done. Why do we have to wait and hold another meeting? This council has voted.
I couldn't agree more, and I'll make myself available.
I'm available till whenever. Soon as this meeting's over with, we'll meet again. If it's up to Mr. Hebert and Ms. Williams, I'm available.
Thank you, Mr. Pizzolatto. We'll consider that date. We'll put that in front of the administration shortly. Ms. Williams, your light.
First of all, I think this is a clear example of what we requested before Mr. Artigo to do something to stop the amounts of litigations that come here. First of all, to the council members that represent areas south of Woodlawn Ranch Road, this is of no offense to you, but this parish does exist other than south of Woodlawn Ranch Road. I stood in somebody's yard in the Gibson area when the water came up. I stood in somebody's yard further down in Gibson when we had to get people out in the midnight hour. Now, I understood that the affected areas would probably receive attention, the more affected areas would probably receive attention before other parts of this parish. But anytime you're on national news and you're saying that Terrebonne Parish is ground zero, that means the entire parish is affected, in my opinion. That means we can't just start saying that we're going to save this person and that person and then forget about the people in the northern part. I believe one of the council members up here made an amendment to that resolution that it would read all affected all areas of this parish. I agree with both Mr. Pizzolata and Mr. Hebert. First of all, it's an embarrassment to find this stuff out in a public forum like this, and then we're going to be expected to discuss this later on. I feel like we should have been contacted. I don't even see the person from Public Works that held this meeting here to defend or to tell us what in the world is going on. And I know that we say no certain things are allowed in here, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna let my district go undone and the other districts are being taken care of, because everybody in this parish pays tax dollars and everybody should be represented equally. We gave up large amounts and large projects in this area because we were told that we could not even expect repayment from FEMA, that we had to prepare like we were not getting repaid. And if I gave up something, to me, I gave it up to protect people, and I want the people that I represent from Shreve to Johnson Ridge to Gibson down to downtown Homer protected. Thank you. And I'm available to stay here tonight too.
Thank you very much for those comments, Ms. Williams. Mr. Tillman, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've all made great sacrifice as it relates to our districts in terms of the monies that was generated from our district in various projects to get this thing done. And I'm just a bit taken that this is my first time hearing of it as well as many of these other council members. But I mean, we made very serious sacrifices as it relates to the dollars that we have to the various districts we had. I mean, for my district itself, I mean, it was $300,000. You know, I mean, right now, I mean, I have an area of along Bayou Chauvin, Senator Circle that flooded out completely. You know, needing monies to put some type of levee protection along Bayou Chauvin to try to protect the people in that areas. But we also understand the importance of the lower end of the bayou as it relates to the salvation of the northern end of the bayou. We realize that those two places, the survival depend on each other. We realize that. But to hear tonight that only the southern part of the area is going to be taken care of, it's just not right. And I mean, when it comes down to this council and what we pass here, sometimes I wonder whether or not we think about Burger King having it your way. But when we sit here and we make a motion to get something done and the money's been allocated and appropriated for that purpose, then I believe that the intent of this council should move forward in terms of getting that done. So I mean, I'm quite taken here as well, and certainly if you're not going to use the money for that, I need that $300,000 back, and we can start tomorrow going placing some levees on those areas along Bayou Chauvin that needs it desperately as well. So if we're not going to do what we need to do with it, Ms. Elf, what I need to do to get that $307,000 back? So let's make this thing happen and make it happen the right way. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Tillman. Mr. President, your light, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First off, I will be available later tonight. I want to just mention to you, I've learned this from, and I know people hate it when I use legal things, but if you only hear one side of the story, it's certainly substantially different from both sides of the story. I will suggest this. Notices to proceed have been given to both contractors. Notices have not been given to him not to proceed at this stage of the game. We have requested, he's made these allegations, we certainly do, just as we always do, that we work towards trying to resolve differences. We're still waiting for tapes that he said that maybe have been there, because obviously there's different stories that you might imagine on that. Why is Mr. Bush not here? Because this was not on the agenda, and generally this is something that administration would go, and until it's actually perceived as a substantial problem, we don't bring it to everybody's attention. Otherwise, you'd be notified 5 million times a day. So just understand this. The notice to proceed has been given. Nothing has been told to them as far as stopping the work at that stage of the game. And just please understand, none of these contracts would be finished in a week or two. They would continue over a certain period of time. I will suggest this, though. The first comment we had is when it says, do I need to go to the council? I just want to suggest this. Generally, what they do is they work with us first prior to going to the council, and we expected that would happen. And I want to just indicate that's what we normally do. We have problems that come up all day. So I just want to say I will be available right after this. Ms. Alcock, I'm certain, will be available. I'll be happy to work with you in order to try to resolve something in this regard. But it's not going to be resolved, I can tell you, until such time as those tapes come in, because I want to see if that changes any way in our position at this particular time.
Mr. Claudio, are you aware of any change of the scope of contract?
I'm aware from the very beginning, and I'll talk to you out there. This is all stuff that you already know. It's just that I don't think we should air our differences out here, particularly given the stance. I mean, the first thing he does is out there, he says, listen, if I don't get it resolved, we're going to bring our attorney in. Well, I mean, my heavens. And in addition, that's one of the things that they have out here, that they went and bypassed the council. We haven't even gotten to the point where we can try to resolve it.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Mr. Hebert, your light, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I want to ask Mr. Tim a question, if he could come forward.
Mr. McCoy? Mr. Tim McCoy, to the mic, please.
Yes, sir.
Your name, please, to the
My name is Tim McCoy. I'm with Toll
Mr.
Test Incorporated.
Yeah. Mr. McCoy, has it been your experience that where FEMA has come in and said they weren't going to pay part of the cost for the work you've done, have you assisted parishes or counties in helping them collect that money?
Absolutely.
If we had to appeal?
Absolutely, sir. That's why we do the digital photography, submit them with every invoice so that they can always go back and see the cleaned area, so there's no question as to whether or not it was cleaned.
So if one FEMA person comes in and says that FEMA's not going to pay for it, and we appeal it, you will assist the parish to make our point and be able to get reimbursed?
Absolutely, sir. And I know of over...
Is that the process, the normal process? There's appeal. I'm sure you know the process.
Absolutely, sir. And I know of over $100 million of this type of work that's been concluded, and none of it was done because FEMA walked in and said, yes, go do it. The parishes took it upon themselves to go do the work that was necessary to be done, and they applied for the reimbursement because it is debris removal. That is what went into the pipes, was debris. And one other thing besides the tapes that was brought up earlier, Gulf South has minutes of the meeting that were conducted. I'm sure they'll cover the same answers that the tapes will have, but the tapes and transcripts will be here tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I sure appreciate your time, sir, and we will get this resolved. I promise it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other gentleman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Would you please?
Mr. Ingram with Peak. Your name and company, please. To the
Yes, sir. My name's Reed Ingram with P Construction, and
Mr. Hebert's light, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask you the same question. In a situation where FEMA comes in and they're not going to pay any of the work that you perform, do you assist parishes
we will
or
assist.
counties?
Yes, sir. We will.
To be able to get reimbursed their funds and
Yes,
fight
sir.
FEMA on these things?
Yes, sir.
And there is appeal processes in place to appeal these items.
There is, but the contracts that we worked with, we never had to do that. I know there is appeal process, and that FEMA barks one or two times until they reimburse. But in the contracts that we've done, we've had full 100% reimbursement, and by doing that, it's proper paperwork. It's staying on top of things, taking pictures, and doing the job that needs to be done. With no disrespect to Mr. Claudet, I don't understand what minutes have to be done with any of this. If you ask me to clean 2 million linear feet, and it's over an overall average of the entire parish, tapes or no tapes, you can't expect me to clean the worst part of it and leave the less disadvantaged ditches and expect me to do this as overall average. The meeting, question or no question, the contract said 2 million linear feet, plus or minus. We all understand that it's not exact. And I understand 5% is understandable. 10%, 10% maybe. But we're talking, we might have left for us to do is maybe, and this is no guarantee to it, but I'm saying around 500 to 700,000 linear feet. But yet we do all the work, put up all the bonds, do all the due diligence, and now that he wants to, or we're told, and Ms. Claudet says that this isn't done, or we have a week to do this. We started today in good faith. We started today in good faith. Whether we get paid $268 to do the worst ditches in the parish or $268 to do the ditches that are less impact is not fair. With that being said, in the contract, you have to present a change order to get this done. And that's why we're here now, is to speak our piece. And we want to clean these ditches for y'all. And if you look at our contract and our bids, this is a very aggressive bid that we're comfortable with doing and completing, and that the parish of Terrebonne is getting a very, very good price for it. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Adair,
Chairman.
anything else?
That's it, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Williams,
To Mr. Gordon,
Mr. Pat Gordon.
how close are we with the recovery management RFQs?
We have sent out a letter of a tentative selection of a contractor. In fact, that contractor was here Tuesday and was working with some of the department heads, gathering information on the PWs that were being filled out and working with GOSEP. We have not come to a scope of services yet or a detailed fee schedule, but we will be working on that within the next week or so and coming to the council possibly the first meeting of January with a contract.
I asked that question because they would be able to assist us in situations like this as far as fighting for the monies from FEMA in the event that, you know, when we start taking care of this situation with this contract in its original state that we all thought it was going to be, correct?
It's my understanding that, of course, Beck would handle some of that, but the recovery services could be handled by this particular company as well. They have offered a broad array of services, and certainly they could assist us with that.
Okay. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Before moving on, while I'm on the subject, Mr. Tabak, can you make yourself available directly after this meeting for about 10 minutes? Ms. Williams, 10 minutes. Mr. Pizzolato, 10 minutes. Mr. President, can you do that for us, sir?
Mr. Gordon and Ms. Elford.
Mr. Gordon and Ms. Alford, certainly. Mr. Sehan, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were trying to find the resolution, but I think there was some verbiage changed in it the night that we done it from the affected areas to the entire parish.
Certainly.
We haven't found it yet, but we're gonna try to look that up and see. And I got to agree with my colleagues up here. It's totally unacceptable. And to Ms. Williams' comment, I do represent a lot of the southern part of the parish, but probably 80% of the northern part of my district along by Chauvin, along with Mr. Tillman, was flooded.
Sure.
From Allen Street through Sherwood, Roberta Grove, Gene Ellen, and all of these folks back here suffered the consequences also. So,
Where, sir? I was there with you.
yes, sir. But I'm going to find that information and try to get it to the parish president, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sehan. Mr. Tillman, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we certainly had much discussion as it relates to this, and I know, Mr. Chairman, you're calling for a meeting with various players as it relates to this. Certainly, with a situation like this, I think that this thing should be thrown back into the appropriate committee where we all can be a part of this discussion. And certainly I would like to be a part of that discussion. And I know that you're very limited in terms of the number of people that you can put on because by law we cannot do that.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to make a motion at this time that this matter be thrown in the proper committee so that we can all be a part of the deliberation.
To make a motion to do it, sir, we'd have to do it by add-on, but certainly what we'll do in the committee at your request is certainly make that recommendation, if that's okay with you, rather than do an add-on, if that's okay with you. I see the other council members waving, and certainly we'll do that from there, is to have Mr. Labat do that. But to do a motion right now, we'd have to do it by add-on, sir.
Let me need to confer with Mr. Labat.
Certainly.
Mr. Labat, what would be the appropriate action that needs to be taken to throw this thing into its proper committee?
I can take care of that. I'll put it on the next agenda.
Good. Done. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. So what, sir? No, there's no more public. And I've got a few things I want to say, but I'm not going to say them right now. It's just unbelievable. Item 3, committee reports. Public Service Committee of 12-1508, Mr. Pizzolato, your light.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Service Committee as of December 15th, and I have 2 public hearings, sir.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pizzolato, second by Mr. Lepere. Yes, sir, would you read them?
Yes, sir, I will. Mr. Alvin Tillman offered an amended motion, second by Mr. C. Wazan, that the Public Service call a public hearing on January 28, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. to receive comments with respect to the U.S. Oil and Gas Incorporated request to obtain a permit for commercial saltwater disposal facility. That was one, and the second public hearing is Mr. Clayton Wazan moves, second by Mr. Lepere, that the Public Service Committee introduce an ordinance to reduce the speed limit on Evis Street off Grand Caillou Road from 25 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour and call a public hearing on said matter on January 14, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. There's a motion's been seconded. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Item B, Community Development and Planning Committee of 12-1508. Mr. Sehan, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development and Planning Committee meeting December 15th, 2008, and I have 2 public hearings.
Moved by Mr. Sehan, second by Mr. Hebert. Yes, sir. Would you read them?
Number 1, introduce an ordinance to authorize the parish president to negotiate and to execute the 3rd amendment to the lease agreement with Chase Bank and call a public hearing on said matter on January 14th, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. Item 2, introducing an ordinance to approve the issuance of a public certificate of convenience and necessity to Any Cab Company, LLC, and calling a public hearing on said matter on January 14th, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Item C, Budget and Finance Committee of 12-1508. Mr. Hebert, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move that we accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee meeting of December 15th, and I have 5 public hearings.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hebert, second by Mr. Sehan. Yes, sir. Would you read them?
Yes, sir. Introduce an ordinance to amend the 2009 adopted budget to recognize additional funding for the Bayaside Drive Bridge project and calling a public hearing on said matter on January 14th, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. Introduce an ordinance to amend the 2009 adopted budget to recognize funds from various grants from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness for the purchase of various equipment and calling a public hearing on said matter on January 14, 2009, 6:30 p.m. Introduce an ordinance to approve and authorize the parish president to enter into a lease agreement in the Country Club and Munson Drive areas for oil, gas, and other liquid or gaseous minerals with South Coast Production Company Limited, Lafayette, Louisiana, in accordance with the parish government and the Louisiana State Mineral Board, to authorize the parish president to execute the necessary legal documents with respect thereto, to submit the lease to the State Mineral Board for approval, and call a public hearing on said matter on January 14, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. introduce an ordinance to approve and authorize the parish president to enter into a lease agreement in the Donner Deadwood area for an oil, gas, and other liquid or gaseous materials with Sulphur River Exploration Incorporated, Dallas, Texas, in accordance with the parish government and the Louisiana State Mineral Board. Authorize the parish president to execute the necessary legal documents with respect thereto, to submit the lease to the State Mineral Board for approval, and calling a public hearing on said matter on January 14, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. And lastly, introducing an ordinance to declare vehicles and motorcycles from the Houma Police Department as surplus, authorizing said items to be disposed of by any legally approved method, and calling a public hearing on said matter on January 14, 2009 at 6:30 p.m. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item D, Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee of 12-1508. Ms. Williams, your light.
I would like to move for the acceptance and ratification of the minutes of the Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee held 12-1508. I have no public hearings.
Motion by Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. LaPierre. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, Notice of Meetings, NACO Legislative Conference, March 7 through 11, the year '08. I think it must be '09, is that correct? Is that a typo? Let the record show that it's March 7, 11 to 2009 in Washington, D.C. Moved by Ms. Williams. Second by Mr. Hebert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. Item 5, Appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. A, Appointments. 1, Appointments, non-pending. B, Bayakeen Fire and Protection District Board, term of Mr. Lionel Falgood and Mr. Roy Breaux, expire on January 31, '09. Mr. Breaux and Mr. Falgood submits letter of request to be reappointed. Motion to hold for 2 weeks by Mr. Hebert. Second by Mr. LaPierre. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 2, Houma Convention and Visitors Bureau, term of Ms. Barbara Sanak expires on January 5, 2009. Mr. LaBute, had we heard anything?
No, sir, not yet.
Motion to hold for 2 weeks by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 3, Fire Protection District Number 10. Board terms of Mr. Terry Hebert, Mr. Keith Poinson, and Mr. Bert Poinson expire on January 31, 2009. Mr. Bert Poinson, Mr. Keith Poinson, Mr. Keith Poinson expressed an interest in being reappointed. Mr. Hebert has moved out the area. Mr. Rene Madère submits letter of interest. Motion to open, close, and appoint. Motion to open, close, and appoint by Mr. Tillman, second by Mr. LaPierre and Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Mr. LaBute, if you'd let him know. Item 4, Fire Protection District Number 6 Board, terms of Mr. Alcide Dupre, Mrs. Marietta Ellender, and Mr. Kevin Belanger expire on January 31, '09. All three individuals expressed an interest in being reappointed. Mr. Lambert?
Yes, sir.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 5, Fire Protection District Number 7 Board, terms of Mr. Barry Chauvin and Ms. Jamie Theriot expire January 31, '09. Both gentlemen wish to be reappointed. Mr. Lambert, Seahan. Motion to open, close, and reappoint by Mr. Seahan, second by Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 6, Fire Protection District Number 8 Board, term of Mr. Chris Odemont expires on January 31, '09. Term of Mr. Roger Dehart, Mr. Thomas Thibodeau, and Mrs. Tina Thibodeau expire on January 31, '07. '07? Mr. Dehart wishes to be reappointed.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint.
Motion to reappoint Mr. Dehart, hold the other positions open by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. LaPierre. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Fire Protection District Number 4 Board, term of Mr. Willie Bonvaland and Mr. Roland Oakwan, expire January 3109. Hold for 2 weeks.
Motion to hold for 2 weeks.
Motion to hold for 2 weeks by Mr. Lambert, second by Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Fire Protection District Number 5 Board, terms of Mr. Nolan Bazeron, Mr. Doug Chauvin, and Mr. Bernie Hutchinson expire January. All three gentlemen expressed an interest in being reappointed. Mr. Lambert. Motion to open, close, and reappoint all three by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. LePere. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Fire Protection District Number 9 Board, term of Mr. Floyd Trahan and Mr. Brad Blanchard expire on January 3109. Motion to hold for 2 weeks by Mr. LePere, second by Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Item 10, Schriever Fire Protection District Board, terms of Mr. Phil Shakesnyder, Mr. Sam Tabor, and Ms. Emily Wagaspack expire on January 3109. All three individuals wish to be reappointed.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint Ms. Cavalier, second by Mr. LePere and Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Item 11, South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority, term of Mr. Doug Holloway expires on December 3108. Mr. Holloway is interested in serving another term.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint by Ms. Cavalier, second by Ms. Williams. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. Terrebonne Parish Communications District Board, terms of Captain Breland Yelverton, Sheriff's Office requests reappointment, and District Chief Jerry LeBeau of Homer Fire Department expire 12/31/08.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint both members. Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Seahan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 6, council members request discussion of Mr. Billy Hebert, discuss.
13.
Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Terrebonne Port Commission, term of Mr. Charles Giglio, Mr. Chris Ernie, and Mr. Edward Rome expire on 12/23/08. All three gentlemen submitted letters requesting to be reappointed. Motion to open, close, and reappoint by Mr. Seahan, second by Mr. Hebert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Item 6, council members request discussion of Mr. Billy Hebert, discussion and possible action with respect to contracts and contract involvement in the cleanup of Terrebonne Parish as it relates to hurricane damage and contracts in general. This was to be an add-on, but the two gentlemen spoke, I believe, in public. Did you want to just, that issue will not be addressed? Item B, council members. Any council members? Ms. Williams, quick.
Very quickly, to Mr. LePere, I just wanted to say thank you again. I teased him the other night, and he said we didn't have to get him another gift, that goodbye would just do. But just thanks for coming back, Mr. LePere, and as always, for adding your wisdom and your experience to this council.
Mr. Pizzolato, your light, sir?
Yes, I was going to say the same thing, being I sat next to him, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Mr. LePere.
You're welcome.
Mr. LePere, your light, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly want to thank all of you all for voting for me to come back on the council. And most of all, I've preached it, I guess, all my terms had I been up here, that service to your community is the best work of life. And I genuinely believe that. I think if we use that as a norm in our service as councilmen, it'll do the parish well. So thank you all for allowing me to serve, and if I can be any help in the future, feel free to call me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all you've done for us, Mr. LePere. No other council members. Number 7, announcements. Mr. President, any announcements at this time, sir?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chairman. First off, I wanted to mention that the Country Drive Turn Lane project, it appears that because of the lack of school traffic, they may actually start during the holidays to start working on that. So I just wanted to let you know that. In addition to that, I wanted to indicate that the Industrial Boulevard work has been completed, and of course we had the Bell High extension ribbon cutting. In addition to that, we received notification that La Bonne Terre housing on Main Street, right across from the bus station, we had Mr. Gordon and myself and the administration have been pushing to try to get some federal, state tax credits, and they've been successful, and they are supposed to be building 61 additional units over there, so I thought you'd like that. And the most exciting news that I wanted to announce is that came back from the LRA today, and on that committee, there were two people from Terrebonne Parish. There was Chet Morrison there, and Senator Dupre was sitting in for Senator Chasson. At that meeting, they allocated funds, and it appears, and just to show you how much we left them in the dust, we ended up where Terrebonne's going to probably get $120 million of CDBG funds. The next parish was Cameron with approximately $52 million, and then Iberville Parish, then Lafourche, and Lafourche will be getting about $33 million. In addition to that, because we were suffered so much during the storms that we're going to have affordable housing, we're going to be allocated approximately $10 million, and they're taking $40 million and they're allocating it to, but we're going to be allocated $10 million, and then there'll be an additional pot that everybody can go for. But in addition to that, fisheries and agriculture, coastal restoration are additional pots we can work on. For fisheries and agriculture, we're going to actually get Commissioner Strain and probably Chris Van Arsdale down here to explain how we can tap into those funds. Now, these are all CDBG funds. There are certain limitations on it, but that should mean that we should be able to get a lot of things done. And I do want to point out to you that we can use this for non-federal levies, and that'll fill in some of the gaps that we have in certain areas of the parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Those numbers sound good, sir. We really appreciate that. Council members, announcements. Seeing no light, here's a light, Mr. LaPere.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Certainly want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and hopefully we'll start the new year off right, and 2009 will be one of our better years, and we ask the Lord Almighty above to spare us in 2009 of any hurricanes. So hopefully He'll have mercy on us, and I've so much a pleasure to serve the parish, and I will do it in some form in a future date. But Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you again for all you do, Mr. LaPere, and thank you for those greetings. Mr. Tillman, your light, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just like the ditto to the people of Terrebonne Parish, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. And from the chair for the entire council and the entire legislative department, we certainly wish Terrebonne Parish and our neighboring parishes a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Thank you. Thank this parish so much for living and breathing with us here. Item 8, staff reports, information list, no action necessary this evening. B, resolution awarding the bid of G&W Construction Company in the amount of $1,029,275 for the yearly maintenance contract for Public Works. This would have to be done by add-on. Before doing that, I'd like for Mr. Gordon, if you would, to please address the council and let us know why.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. This is the yearly maintenance contract that comes up every year. It's bid out, and currently this year, G&W does have that contract, and the contract will expire December 31st. This resolution was being placed on the January agenda for the council to act upon with the thinking that we could just extend the current contract. In discussing this with the contractor, they declined that offer. And so therefore we brought this to the council tonight to see if we can't have this approved tonight instead of waiting another two weeks, 3 weeks for the council to meet again, and then we wouldn't be able to issue work orders to the contractor to maintain some of the roads in Terrebonne Parish. They were the only bidder on this project. They have been doing this before. The bid is about 5% increase from last year, and administration would recommend that this be approved.
Ms. Cavalier, your light?
This amount was included in the budget for next year, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because you know how I feel about add-ons with money, especially in the public doesn't get a chance to comment on it. But this money was in the budget process. It would have gone to some company. So it's not like we're finding money and we're just deciding to spend some money. And meaning that I've got a lot of roads that y'all can come and start in my district, I am going to support this tonight. So I do plan to support the add-on.
And Mr. Gordon, did you also say that they were the only bidder?
They were the only bidder. That's correct.
Thank you so much.
Motion to add on.
Motion to add on by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Lambert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Ms. Williams. Second. Second by Mr. Lambert and Mr. Sehan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Motion to adopt, Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Lambert and Mr. Sehan. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Before moving to item B, I missed an announcement I'd like to make at this time. Mr. LePaire's replacement, Mr. Kevin Voisin, will be inaugurated in these chambers here in the council meeting room January 5th at 11 a.m. Anyone wanting to make that, certainly every council member needs to make note of that, and it'll be on January 5th at 11 a.m. We've gone through about 3 dates, and that's the date we're going to do it, I believe, with Mr. Labat. Thank you so much. Item B, Parish President. Mr. Claudet,
Yes,
your
Mr.
license?
Chairman. I would also like to thank Mr. LePaire for his service. He's been a wonderful public servant as well as a true gentleman, and we really appreciate that. I'd like to mention a couple things, one of which was good. Sales taxes last month went up about approximately 10%, but the danger signal is that vehicle sales taxes were down $107,000. Second thing I thought you might want to know is generally when I get the royalty reports, Terrebonne Parish is usually the third parish royalty parish, and it's usually Plaquemines, Cameron, and then Terrebonne. This past month, we went into the number 4 slot by a fairly substantial margin, almost $5 million, and we were passed by Iberia Parish. One thing I think we all realize is that as long as our economic significance as an oil parish is there, we still have a lot of clout. The other thing I wanted to mention is we've spent approximately $11 million for storm-related matters, and there was an article in the paper that discussed the outlines or the gaps in the DULAC levees. I've spoken with our people, and of course we were aware of that, and they're all around pipelines that are in the area. And my appreciation is in order for us to, and they're going to have the existing levees there, our work in order to probably bring them up, at least I've been told by Mr. Levron, who's in Public Works, would be approximately $25,000. So it's not a substantial amount to complete that portion. The other things I wanted to mention to you are in the parish we have, just in the city of Houma, we have almost 3,700 street lights. And please, citizens, if you see street lights that are out, please report them. And you'll notice there are a lot of street signs that are also down. We had substantial problems because our our sign thing had been, the roof had blown off and the machine had gone out. But now we're in the process of making certain, and we need make certain all of our stop signs, street signs, and whatever else are up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Item 9, monthly engineering reports. Item A, GSC Associates, asked by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Tillman. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Motion to adjourn, Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Sehan, Mr. Hebert. Seeing no lights on the matter, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good holiday. But don't be hard when they're trying to listen.